coalition of health leaders says fundamental change of the current system is needed. It found that elderly people in the UK who are in need of urgent help are being failed by our National Health Service. Helen Birtwhistle is Director of External Affairs at the NHS Confederation.
There are huge challenges in looking after an increasing older population. I mean, in the UK, in 1948, when the National Health Service was first established, 48% of us died before reaching 65. And now in 2016, only 12% die before 65, which is fantastic. It's wonderful. It's a great success story. But it does mean that we are growing older. And as we grow older, we are more likely to have one or more, possibly long-term health conditions. And we need to be looked after, we need to be supported, and we need to be helped to live as healthy a life as possible and as independent a life as possible.
And the problem in Britain, but also in other developed and maybe developing countries, is that people need hospital care. As they get older, they tend to occupy the beds in hospitals for longer, and that means that others can't get the care.
That can be true, and what it also means is that people are often in hospital, older people in particular, get into a pattern where they get admitted to hospital, and they might not necessarily need to be there. It might not be the best place for their care. And that's not their fault. It's absolutely not their fault. But what we're looking at is increasing pressure on our hospitals in the UK. And actually, what we've come to look at through this commission is better ways of serving those people so that they can be looked after better in their own homes and their own communities. They can be supported in social care, in mental and physical care.
Is this what we might call a first world problem, that these days fewer and fewer families are together in more than a couple of generations? In the past, Grandad and Grandma would have been looked after in the family home until they passed away. That happens less and less.
Certainly society has changed and needs of older people have changed, and it's important that we look at ways of helping older people and their families. And one of the things that the Commission has done has gathered together a group of experts from across the health and social care, the voluntary sector in the UK, but also has talked to individuals, to patients, their carers and families. And what we're hearing from carers and families is that they too need support.
But again, in perhaps less developed societies, all of those things would be happening around elderly people, wouldn't it? They would be part of the flow of life, which in the UK and many European countries now, they are less engaged with the family down to the tiny baby who might be their great-grandchild.
Well, sometimes it's because people have moved away, and you're quite right. Things have changed. Things are different. We need to be able to support the way things look now in the United Kingdom. What this report does is offer hospitals and care services and community care services and social care services, as well as the voluntary sector, a joined up way of looking at dealing with older people in a way that offers them care, dignity, respect. It's about accepting the reality of how our society is organised and helping people to live longer, healthier and more independent lives within what we've got.
Helping people to live longer and more independent lives. That's Helen Birtwhistle. She's Director of External Affairs at the NHS Confederation, talking about the situation in Britain. Well, to get some help